But if you're already tapped into second heaven realities because you're doing things you're not supposed to do, you can read people like a book, okay? And one of the things I'm really trying to drill down with all of us is that God is a warrior, that he's been at war before humanity was ever created. And this is a war book. And in it, I like we just did a interview with Joel Richardson, really neat guy. But the secondary title of his book, because it's called The Gospel, the Skull Crusher, and the secondary title is how that the completed work of Christ fixes everything.
It's the answer to everything.
Because it is still being played out, and it will be played out until we get into a new heaven and new earth. That everything that God has set into place, that if we ever lose sight that we're at war, we're in danger. Why did Jesus tell us, okay, when you go into prayer, you glorify God, and then you begin fighting, saying, Father, I want your will done in earth as it is in heaven, which means it isn't being done. That part of the warfare that we have is praying to create a conduit so that the will of God can come into the earth. And so when Messiah was, because his disciples said, listen, it's very obviously you pray differently than the Pharisees do. And we need to understand what you're doing. Everything that Jesus did as Messiah, he did because in his prayer time, he created a conduit to bring the will of God in the earth. And so every person that he healed was the will of God in the earth. Every time he brought correction was the will of God in the earth. Every time he brought forth a teaching, it was the will of God in the earth, which meant that outside of that, and somebody praying to bring that to pass, the will of God was not being done. And we need to understand in the earth today, unless we do our job, because we're part of God's army, but we are a part, not a whole. That we're working in concert with the Holy Spirit. We're working in concert with the angels of God. We're working in concert with other believers all around the world that are saying, Father, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. That we're praying his will into the earth, because everything about planet Earth, the very spirit of this age, is to thwart, there we go, the will of God being done in the earth.